Welcome back to the third part of our text functions guide. In this section, we'll continue exploring more advanced text functions to help you further improve your workflows in Engini. If you haven't watched the earlier parts yet, I recommend starting there. But if you're ready, let's jump right in. Let's start with the trim function. This function removes any leading and trailing characters from a string based on what you specify. By default, it trims white spaces, but you can choose any characters you like. For instance, if we have the string %% and we use the trim function to remove the % characters, the function should return ABC. Let's try this out by trimming %ABC to eliminate the % symbols. After saving and testing, the result is indeed ABC. Let's move on to the TRIMSTART function. This function removes all leading characters from a string, depending on what you specify. If you don't provide any characters, it will remove leading white spaces by default. For example, if we have the text 000123 and we want to remove the leading zeros, the function should return 123. Let's test this by trimming the leading zeros from 000123. After saving and testing, the result is indeed 123. Let's take a look at the TRIMEND function. This function removes all trailing characters from a string based on what you specify. If no characters are given, it will remove trailing white spaces by default. For example, if we have the text hello and want to remove the trailing exclamation marks, the function is supposed to return hello without them. Let's test this by trimming the trailing exclamation marks from hello. After saving and testing, the result is hello, as we expected. Now, let's take a look at the STRINGTONUMBER function. This function converts a text string into a numeric value. For example, if we use STRINGTONUMBER with the text 123, the function is supposed to return the numeric value 123. Let's test this by converting the string 123 into a number. After saving and testing, the result is 123, just as we expected. Let's now explore the STRINGTOBASE64 function. This function encodes a string of text into a base64 encoded format, which is useful for converting data into a text format that can be transmitted over the internet. For example, if we use STRINGTOBASE64 with the text hello world, it will return the base64 encoded version of that text. Let's test this by encoding hello world. After saving and testing, the result is the base64 encoded representation of the text. Next, let's take a look at the base64 to string function. This function takes a base64 encoded string as input and decodes it back into its original text format. The encoding parameter is optional. For example, if we use base64 to string with the encoded text, it will return the original text, which is hello world. Let's try this out by decoding the base64 string. After saving and testing, the result is hello world, exactly as it should be. Let's take a look at the contains function. This function checks if a specific substring is present within a larger string and returns true or false based on whether it's found. For example, if we check whether cat is in the text, the cat is sleeping, the function should return true since cat is in the text. Let's try this out. After saving and testing, the result is true, which is what we expected. Let's move on to the TOJSONSTRING function. This function converts a given expression into its JSON representation and returns the result. First, we'll initialize a string with the value Engini. Quotation marks example. Next, we'll create a new object type variable which we'll call test for this demonstration. We'll then assign the string to this object variable using the TOJSONSTRING function. The output should be converted into JSON format. Let's test this by converting the string to its JSON format. After saving and testing, the result will be the correct JSON representation. That's it for this part of our text functions guide. I hope this has helped you get a better understanding of how to work with text in Engini. Be sure to join us for the next part. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.